All right, today we are diving into one of the most iconic and, let's be honest, brutal worlds in comic book history. A place with rivers of blood and two suns in the sky. Vampirella's homeworld, Drakulon. But, as you're about to find out, the real story behind this planet is, well, it's a whole lot weirder and way more terrifying than any simple sci-fi tale.
So for years, this is the picture we've all had, right? Drakulon, this harsh, alien planet. And when I say it's a world of blood, I'm not being poetic. The entire ecosystem, it literally runs on blood. We're talking rivers of it, oceans of it. And for the people who live there, the vampiri, it's just like water is for us. They need it to live.
Yeah, this is the sci-fi origin story we all know and love. You've got this dying planet, right? It's orbiting not one, but two suns, Satyr and Circe. And every so often, one of those suns just erupts. This kicks off these massive planet-wide droughts that dry up all the blood rivers, and suddenly the vampiri are facing extinction. And these guys are no joke. They can fly, they can shapeshift, they've got super strength, and get this, sunlight doesn't bother them one bit. So this whole dying world thing, that's the catalyst. That's why Vampirella has to get out of there and ends up on Earth.
So, that's the story we've been told. But what if that whole world, that entire origin was just a lie? A really elaborate, carefully crafted deception, like a psychological prison designed specifically to trap Vampirella.
And that brings us to our first huge reveal. Because the truth about Draculon, it's not out there in deep space. Nope, it's in a metaphysical reality, and it's a lot closer to home than you'd think. Okay, here it is, the big twist. Draculon, it's not a planet at all. It's actually a metaphysical reality. Think of it like an alternate version of our own moon, sitting in this other dimension called Arcadia. This means you can't just hop in a spaceship and fly there. It's a place that's kind of vibrating just on the edge of our own reality.
So what exactly is Arcadia? Well, imagine this twilight dimension, right? A super dense kind of fever dream forest that's like a mirror to some forgotten version of our moon. It's a place where all the rules we live by, they just get thrown out the window. The laws of physics, even theology, they're totally fluid, always changing. Okay, so if Draculon is a total fabrication, then who's the one pulling the strings? Who's the liar? To get that answer, we've got to talk about the mastermind behind this whole thing. Vampirella's own mother, Lilith. And Lilith she's not just any mother. In this crazy cosmic drama, she's known as the writer. They also call her the architect of confusion, which is pretty fitting. She's this ancient, primordial manipulator who doesn't just tell stories, she literally forces them into being. She makes them reality. So how did she do it? Her weapon of choice was something called a magic mirror. And with it, she just jammed dozens of completely contradictory origin stories right into Vampirella's head. One day, is she an alien refugee from a dying planet? The next, is she the literal demonic daughter of Lilith? You see, these constant changes, they weren't just lazy writing or retcons. No, this was a deliberate form of psychological torture, designed to keep Vampirella trapped in this mental prison of who am I? But of course, a new player enters the game to challenge Lilith, and her name is Sophia. These two are complete opposites, and they're basically fighting for Vampirella's soul. So on one side, you've got Lilith, the writer. Her whole game is manipulation and control by feeding Vampirella fake stories, which just causes more trauma. But on the other side, you've got Sophia, the interpreter. Her goal is all about empowerment. She wants to teach Vampirella how to find real wisdom inside all that chaos, to rise above it all.
So this leads to a pretty huge question, right? How does a hero possibly escape a prison that's built out of her own mind, her own memories? Well, the answer is all about Vampirella's incredible journey inward. This is where Sophia drops a total bombshell of a lesson. She tells Vampirella to stop looking for one single true origin story, because it doesn't exist. The truth, the real truth, is the chaos itself. All the lies, all the contradictions, all the manipulation from her mother, all of it smashed together is what actually makes her who she is. It's her foundation. And that realization, it kicks off this massive transformation, which is actually laid out like Nietzsche's 3 metamorphoses. It's pretty cool. So first, she has to be the camel. She has to bear the crushing weight of all those contradictory pasts. Then she becomes the lion. She has to confront all those fake stories and roar back with a defiant, I will.
And finally, she becomes the child, a totally new beginning, creating a brand new self not by ignoring the chaos, but by building her identity from it. And that's really the core of it, isn't it? The very thing that caused her so much pain and trauma, having no real home, no single identity, it flips and becomes the source of her greatest strength, her ultimate freedom. Because when you're a soul that belongs nowhere, you're a soul that can become anything. But hang on, because this deeply personal struggle, it's actually just one battle in a much, much bigger cosmic war. A war that's being fought over the nature of reality itself, a war of stories. And that's when Jack Sovereign walks onto the stage. He's something else entirely, a terrifying third option. See, he doesn't care about the whole order versus chaos debate or good versus evil. His philosophy is super simple: sovereign will. He couldn't care less about the meaning of existence. He only cares about what he can take from it. This guy is a full-on multiversal predator, and his reach is huge. He's gone head-to-head with Vampirella over a fractured Chaos Stone. He's hunted Red Sonja way back in the Hyborian Age just to collect on a debt. He's so out there that even Chaos Demons see him as an anomaly, like a glitch in the system. Their magic is so totally useless on him because his willpower is so absolute, so self-made, that it just exists completely outside of their rules. But Jack isn't the only threat out there. Vampirella is caught in this cosmic tug-of-war between two other destructive ideas. On one end, you have the Continuist, a being of pure chaos who just wants to flood reality with a million contradictory stories until nothing makes sense anymore. And on the other end, you have Vrildox, a being of absolute order who wants to prune away everything messy. Free will, chance, feelings, until all that's left is one single static, predictable math problem. So what does Vampirella do? She says no thanks to both of them. Instead of picking a side, she creates her own third path. And this is brilliant. She doesn't just live with her contradictory memories. She turns them into a weapon. She becomes this living, self-sustaining reality loop, a being who remembers every timeline, every recon, every single story the universe desperately tried to erase. And that leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to chew on. In a universe where everyone is fighting over which story is the real one, what kind of power does a person have who refuses to forget any of them? What happens when a hero becomes the living, breathing library of everything the universe tried to bury?